This morning, the bitter division among Republicans in the Texas House might create opportunity for Democrats.
Right now, Mr. Burrows has offered the best deal to Democrats that I can see.
Newly elected to lead House Democrats, State Rep Jean Wu tells us that both candidates for Speaker on the Republican side have reached out. A $20 billion surplus now awaits lawmakers when they return to Austin. But what will they do with it? On Friday, Michael McCall walked away from one of the most powerful committees in Congress. So what is next for him politically? And a millennial from Austin, now the newest leader of progressives in Congress. Congressman Greg Casar, and how he thinks Democrats should reconnect with voters.
Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley starts now.
Good Sunday morning, I'm Jason Whiteley. Before we start the holidays here, let's get you caught up on what's happening politically across our state. Texas lawmakers will have another massive surplus to decide what to do with next month when they go to Austin. State Comptroller Glenn Hager said it's about $20 billion this time. 2 years ago, it was $32 billion. Lawmakers will have a number of ideas on what to do with it, either spend it on certain things or perhaps give Texans another property tax cut. President Trump named another Texan to his administration this past week. Ray Washburn is up for U.S. Ambassador to the European Union. Washburn's a high-profile real estate developer in the Dallas area and Republican fundraiser as well. In Dallas, he owns Highland Park Village, the former Dallas Morning News building downtown, and just purchased the old Greyhound station, to name a few. And the Republican Party of Texas is airing a vicious attack ad against one of its own in the legislature. The GOP is going after State Rep Dustin Burrows. He's running against David Cook for House Speaker. Cook has a majority of Republicans behind him, but Democrats have joined Burrows, giving him more total support. The GOP put this attack ad on in Lubbock, where Burrows is from, accusing him of breaking his promise and not supporting the person with the most Republican support. Let's start with that political drama that's playing out with Republicans in the legislature over who should be the next speaker. The entire chamber will elect the speaker on the first day of the legislative session next month. But this bitter division inside the GOP might be creating opportunity for Texas Democrats. State Rep Jean Wu is the newly elected chairman of the House Democratic Caucus and tells us that both Republicans who are vying to become speaker are privately negotiating with Democrats. Mr. Chairman, welcome to the program here with your new title. Let's talk about the Democratic Party in the House of Representatives. House Democrats in Texas are at their lowest point since 2016. You guys have 62 seats. Republicans have 88 seats. What's your strategy to make the party relevant next month?
Yeah, I think the easy answer is we're going to do the things that people have been talking about for years that we've known has been a problem. Democrats consistently are chasing after Republicans fighting on the battlefields that they choose. And I think Democrats need to come out and talk about the things that Democrats have cared about for a long time. Wages, healthcare costs, food costs, housing costs, insurance costs, the power grid, all these things that matter to everyday Texans. We're going to be focused on those like a laser beam.
Republicans are fighting over who should be the next Speaker of the House. How do you expect this is going to shake out?
Yeah, I mean, right now for Democrats, both candidates are not ideal, right? Let's just be nice and just say it that way. But right now, Mr. Burrows has offered the best deal to Democrats that I can see. We're still continuing to negotiate right now and get more concessions. But again, David Cook is talking to us too, and we're saying, like, what do you got to offer? Like, tell us, right? If you give us a better deal, we'll go with you.
And what are some of these offers that they're both putting on the table? Because it seems like they need Democrats since all Republicans aren't on board.
So I'm not going to go into the exact details because, again, if we're going to negotiate, then they should negotiate, and tell us what they have without knowing what the other side is giving us. Look, we're going to ask for things like the way the House operates, the way things are done, the way the rules are enforced, things like that. But also we are asking for things like, what are you going to do about anti-trans bills? What are you going to do about bills for women? What are you going to do about an abortion exception? Are you going to push those through? Are you going to allow them through? Are you going to allow a vote on the floor? All these questions from everywhere from the Latino community to the African-American community to LGBTQ to whatever it is, whether it's a Muslim issue, whether it's an Asian issue. We're going to be asking all those questions, and we're going to be listening for the answers very closely.
And how about chairmanships of some committees in the House? That's been a real sticking point for Republicans. Are you guys still demanding that you have some committees
Yes.
that you chair?
Yes. I mean, look, here's the basic thing. Right now, Democrats, we're the belle of the ball. There are two factions of the Republicans who do not like each other one bit and cannot stand each other. And right now, Democrats are saying, hey, we're closer to y'all than y'all are to each other. So whoever wants our hand in this relationship, you can come get it. Tell us what you're going to give us and tell us what the people of the state of Texas are going to get. And then we'll decide, right? So Democrats are saying, we're here for you are asking for our hand. Let's see what we get.
Mr. Chairman, congratulations again. We always appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring in the roundtable now to talk about the politics of this. Bud Kennedy is here from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Ashley Godot, the political director at KVUE in Austin, is with us, and Bernadine Steptoe, political producer at WFAA in Dallas. Bud, the Democrats are the belle of the ball right now, State Rep Gene Wu said. Are they going to wield some influence after all?
Well, they always wield influence when it comes time to elect the speaker. Texas has elected a coalition speaker for sessions now, although the last couple of speakers had a majority of Republican support. But the coalition speaker is back in business. If all it takes is 14 Republicans to stand their ground and say, we're not voting for David Cook, we're going to go with the coalition. And if 14 Republicans stand their ground from now till the second week of January, then the Democrats and a coalition of Republicans will elect the speaker.
And Ashley, 14 Republicans standing their ground sounds like risky political business, though.
That's exactly what it is, Jason. I think we are in a time now where we are seeing incumbents be primaried, incumbents losing the support of Governor Greg Abbott. And, you yourself talked about the ad that was launched against Rep. Burrows in his hometown. I just think it's very risky. These lawmakers are already saying that they're receiving threats. And so, if they want to stand their ground, they can. But it also could mean the end of their political careers.
And Bernadine, what's fascinating to me is the GOP has taken out that attack ad against Rep. Burrows in his own district in Lubbock.
Well, it is an example of how they're playing the game now, but keep in mind that initially, the last primary, these representatives were caught off guard in terms of how aggressive the opposition was to them, but this time they know the game plan. Yeah. So if they're getting ready to be primaried and they're not ready, it's on them. So I think that it is a big risk, but they're not backing down.
They aren't so far. We'll see what happens in the remaining 3 weeks. A lot more ahead here, including this. When we come back this morning, Michael McCall walking away from one of the most powerful committees in Congress. This morning, we're asking him what he will do next, politically. And the Texas millennial that might help lead Democrats back to political power. Congressman Greg Casar has a rising new role in D.C. Inside Texas Politics is back in a moment. Welcome back to Inside Texas Politics. On Friday, Representative Michael McCall walked away from one of the most powerful committees in Congress. He was the first Texan to ever chair the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Chairman McCall joined us from the U.S. Capitol to talk about that position and what is next politically for him. Mr. Chairman, welcome back to the program here. You've chaired the House Homeland Security Committee. You're leaving the Foreign Affairs Committee right now. As you leave this position, what concerns you most in the world right now?
You got two hot wars in a hot zone. It's really the Indo-Pacific. If you play out war games, it is more likely to be a source when I get asked the question, where would World War III occur? It would be most likely in the Indo-Pacific, which is why deterrence is so important. I hope the new administration will bring that deterrence to play.
Mr. Chairman, with the election of Donald Trump and his incoming administration here, do you think that has squelched some of the simmering battles around the world? It seems like the Israel-Gaza war has really been settled since the last time you and I talked. There's not as much talk about China anymore, it seems like, after the new administration coming in. And then we see what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and Ukraine seems to be losing territory here and kind of on the downhill slide.
Right. I think, this goes back to the beginning of history, but if you look at Chamberlain and Churchill, one stood for appeasement, one projected strength. Reagan talked about peace through strength. I think Trump provides a projection of strength and certainly not weakness. He also projects unpredictability. I think our adversaries don't really know what he's going to do. And that provides, I have to say, Jason, a fear factor. I remember talking to Condoleezza Rice. She said, you want everybody to like you, but they're not always going to like you. If they don't, you want them to respect you. And if not, then you want them to fear you. I think Trump provides that fear factor that Biden did not. I think our adversaries are fearful of what his next move could be, given the fact he is commander in chief, or will be, over the greatest military on the planet.
You're walking away from this position as chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. You've held a lot of leadership positions in D.C. What's next for you politically?
Well, I respect our term limits. It's the best job I've had. I learned a lot, Every day I was learning about every part of the world in the classified space as well. I want to carry on the information, the expertise I have to be a very a thought leader in the Congress, somebody who can, lead on issues of foreign policy, national security, and work with the incoming administration on how we can best achieve peace throughout the world and maintain our status, though, as a superpower that we inherited from the greatest generation, World War II.
There has been chatter, though, about you potentially looking at a U.S. Senate run. Is that something you've thought about, or do you have higher political aspirations?
I haven't, and I don't know what my good friend Senator Cornyn's going to do. I was hoping he'd be majority leader, but I'm sure there'll be quite a few candidates lined up for that one. I've had a lot of, strangely, a lot of opportunities thrown at me. I really want to spend the next 2 years doing the best job I can to help defend this great nation with my expertise. And if that, I don't close off any options, at this point.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you again. I appreciate the time as always, sir.
Thank you, Jason, always, and Merry Christmas.
A millennial from Austin is now the newest leader of the progressives in Congress. U.S. Rep. Greg Casar was elected to the position just as the Democratic Party is starting to soul search, figuring out how to regain political power. Congressman Casar has some ideas on what he and his colleagues should be doing right now. We spoke to him from his office on Capitol Hill. Congressman, welcome back to the program. Congratulations on your new position here. Your party is searching for an identity after the election last month. Can you give us an idea of what the party needs to do from here? It's been several weeks. The party's talked about rebranding itself. What do you think is priority number one?
If you look at opinion polling, going back decades, between the post-World War II era up until about the mid-2010s, people associated the Democratic Party with being the party of working people. And we've got to get back to that. We've got to show them that we're willing to stand up to the Elon Musks of the world. Elon Musk is getting brought in here as co-president with Donald Trump, and he's just trying to find ways to not make the government more efficient for the people, but to make the government more efficient for himself. So I think that the everyday person who says, why participate in politics? Everybody's the same. Screw this. We got to be able to reach out to that person and show them we're willing to stand up as a Democratic Party to the Elon Musks and Donald Trumps of the world on behalf of the everyday Texan. Progressive caucus members have been willing to stand up to the powerful in the past. And that's why I hope that the Progressive Caucus members supercharge this rebrand of the Democratic Party back to an everyday people's party.
Congressman, one thing that Republicans have and have had for years is this right-wing media circle. They have cable TV, they have AM radio, they have dominate on social media. Democrats just don't have that. Republicans are successful then in getting their message out. So even if you try to talk about working class, how do you get that message to the people who you think need to hear it?
I think that Democrats need to, of course, still make sure we're talking to the traditional legacy media. That's important. But then we also have to get out of our comfort zone and go and talk to voters where they're at, on the podcast, on social media, on the cultural TV shows where maybe we might not agree with the hosts on every single thing. Who cares? I don't agree with my members of my family on every single thing. The people that I see on the weekend who are my friends on every single thing. We need to be able to make sure that the Democratic Party tent is big enough to include people across geography, across belief systems. But the organizing principle should be that we're against the corruption that I see in Washington, that I see so heavily on the Republican side, that we're against making big corporations even more powerful when most people are just normal people. And I think if we can put that at the center of what we're talking about, then we can go on the Joe Rogan shows of the world. We can be on the podcast. We can be like Senator Bernie Sanders, who, fearlessly went and spoke with a lot of different outlets, regardless of whether he thought they were friendly to them. He was on Fox News regularly. And I think that that's something that Democrats and progressives should be able to do.
Mr. Chairman, we appreciate it. Thanks for the time, and congratulations again to you.
Thank you very much.
And the roundtable is ready when we come back here on Inside Texas Politics.
This is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley.
All right, time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Bud, Ashley, and Bernadine all back with us here. Bud, let's talk about this new dynamic in the House Speaker's race. This Republican Party of Texas rule that says if lawmakers in the House do not vote with the caucus, they'll be banned from running in the next primary. I didn't realize this existed. There's probably a million little rules like this, but this could be substantial.
Well, the party, what we say the party, it's really this small clique of people who go to the meetings and go to the conventions. It really doesn't have much to do with Texans at large. The party can't throw somebody off the ballot if they try to do that. All these people who just voted, if they are electing Burrows as Speaker or another candidate, they're also going to pass a bill that says the Republican Party can't do that. So it's completely moot. It's a foolish and empty gesture by the party.
It is an interesting and maybe surprising turn of events here, I think, Bernadine or Ashley, for the party to bring this up.
Well, when you think about the actual rule, so when someone goes to run for a primary in the Republican Party, they have to check a box that says, I haven't been censored by the party. And so basically, if they are voting for Representative Burrows, the party has said they will censor those members, which means they wouldn't check that box, which means their applications could be thrown out. What I think is really interesting is that the party has kind of hinted that it will help fight the legal battle over this rule that it has. They really want to stop these members and pressure these members to vote for Representative Cook instead. I just don't know that that's going to work, and I don't know how well that would go over with voters, especially in those counties, to say my lawmaker can't run again. It's an interesting dynamic.
It really is an interesting new dynamic here, Bernadine. At the end of the day, I don't recollect, and perhaps there has been a time, but I don't recollect the parties trying to exert this much influence on their own candidates.
Well, I think it is new, but when they passed this, it was brought up that it would be challenged. So they are expecting a challenge, but it's going to be also interesting to see if these elected officials allow people who are not elected to tell them how to run the party. It is the Texas party, but up until a few years ago, you didn't have a number of the high profile or statewide elected officials who were even as involved in it. So it's going to be interesting, but I think at the end of the day, if Burrows does succeed, that he will be Speaker, and then in the primary, those elected officials and those representatives will be on the ballot.
Ashley, let's talk about a great piece in the Texas Tribune, an investigation they just completed here about the border wall. And the investigation shows the border wall is sporadic, it's disconnected, it doesn't meet in a number of places. And now it looks like there's some plans to file a bill or legislation in Austin that would force landowners to sell land through eminent domain. Is this going to go anywhere? Because private property rights is the big thing that Texas Republicans have stood on for decades.
They have stood on that for decades, but I think what we're seeing a bit of a new Republican Party in Texas. I would argue that there are things that the Republican Party has stood for years and years and years that they're sort of backing away from now. The big problem with the wall is landowners down on the border don't want it. They don't want to put it on their wall. They don't want to sell land to the state. And so if you are going to follow through with Governor Abbott's promise of having this wall, you're going to have to do something about it. I think that dynamic and the thing that could change in all this is with President-elect Donald Trump coming back into office, you know, he also is a fan of a border wall. And so is there going to be some federal pressure or some federal dollars back that would persuade these landowners a little more to sell?
But indeed, this is a brand new Republican Party we're talking about and dealing with here. But private property rights, giving that up?
Yeah, if they can take your property away to build a wall, can they take it away to build a shopping mall? What else can they take it away for? Can they turn it over to private enterprise? Usurping private property rights goes against the old Republican Party. This Republican Party does not care.
It's fascinating. And Bernadine, I think what a lot of people don't realize too, they think that oh, there's a border wall down there, the thing's, you know, it stretches out and it keeps people on the other side. The Tribune investigation showed that's not the case. It's sporadic, it's in different pieces. And you know, people I've talked to down there have said that we need it in areas that are high traffic. But it's not what I think the messaging shows that they want it to be.
And I think it's that way because the government or Abbott in the state has not been able to get those landowners to move. And it does. What I think that we'll see is whether or not this new Republican Party is willing to take that land. Because and as everyone has said, it is a new party, but are they willing to just go that far? And they go far on a lot of things, but are they willing to make those Republicans or those voters down in that valley to give it up?
And the Valley now has voted majority Republican for Donald Trump, so this will be some interesting dynamics to play out. Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching as well. We hope to see you next week for Inside Texas Politics. Hope you have a Merry Christmas.